SpeakEasy does a really good job year after year of curating really interesting seasons that address a lot of different issues and that are going to have appeal for a broad range of audiences.
They're really on the pulse of what the community is searching for when it comes to storytelling and the narratives that we don't see enough on the stage.
The desire to bring interesting and different and unusual, sometimes quirky productions is certainly one of the things that I love about SpeakEasy.
Our mission is about creating conversation and bringing new plays and new ideas to Boston. So that question that why this play, why now, I think is really important to ask, because if there's not a compelling, relevant answer to that question, then I don't think the play necessarily belongs in SpeakEasy season.
SpeakEasy has a unique way of telling stories because of its space, and it's a nice intimate space. And because of that, we have to take these grand stories that are told in big spaces in New York and make them intimate and reach the audience in a different way.
SpeakEasy downsizes these productions to a point where you can focus on the human stories that are at their core. And ultimately that's, to me, what's most interesting about drama is the human stories.
Ed and Nancy Roberts made the gift that made this theater possible. We've been here since 2004. It is a wonderful space. It has many, many fantastic things about it. First of all, it can be reconfigured. So we have about 200 seats in the theater, and we can do it in this configuration, which is for once, and in a thrust configuration where the audience is on 3 sides, and we did that for Fun Home and Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and most recently Small Mouth Sounds. And it feels like you're there. This idea of being on the edge of your seat and leaning forward, you can feel the actors breathe.
It makes you feel like you're touching their souls and telling the story in the most private and personal way.
The Roberts Studio is one of my favorite spaces here in Boston because I think theater has to be intimate. It's such an intimate process when you have live actors in front of you, giving their all to tell these stories.
I wanna play airplane. I wanna play airplane.
Musical theater and musicals really speak to me personally. I grew up on them. When I saw The Sound of Music when I was a freshman in high school, changed my life, and I knew that producing and directing musicals was going to be part of my future.
A musical is like any great work of theater. It's collaborative, it's creative, it transports you to new places, but for me, it's the music that has such an emotional impact. It was Yip Harburg, the composer of Over the Rainbow, who once said, "Words can make you think, music can make you feel, but a song can make you feel a thought."
The contemporary American musical is so unique because we can tell stories that are difficult in an entertaining way. When I work on a piece like The Scottsboro Boys, I'm hoping that the audience leaves changed.
I love Scottsboro Boys. The entire cast and crew were so careful and thoughtful with what they were presenting to the audience, and we all took the time to really learn about the history and understand the story of these boys so that we could tell it in an authentic way.
Jeanine Tesori is a contemporary American musical writer, right now I think at the top of her game. We've produced 3 of her musicals, Violet, Caroline, or Change, and most recently Fun Home. But honestly, I would produce anything that she wrote.
If you think you know what her style is, you're wrong. Like she transcends that.
I think she is incredibly inventive. I think it's interesting the way she often will give you multiple versions of the same character. That was a device she used in Shrek, in Violet, and of course in Fun Home.
I'm a huge fan of Jeanine Tesori. I met her, which was a thrill. She came to see Violet here at SpeakEasy. Violet was so special because each of the characters has its own unique and dynamic story. You can find the heart and soul of each character. It was very, very special.
SpeakEasy feels like an old friend to me. I've been coming since season 2. It's a lot of years. It's an opportunity to go and relax and give myself up to an experience.
When theater is at its most powerful is when we see images of ourselves up on stage and feel validated and seen as human beings. And in the past year, I can think of several times when audience members have approached me after they've seen the show. For instance, the musical Allegiance. Most recently, we did the musical Fun Home, and some audience members approaching me and letting me know that it was so wonderful to see their story reflected up on the stage, and in some cases for the first time, and they felt seen and validated by the theater that SpeakEasy is producing.